Hello everyone, my name is Michael and this is yet another episode of Just Make Game. To start this month off, I have made a significant change to the conversation systems within Bannerman. Previous versions of the game had NPCs that would essentially talk at the player. They had a number of lines each, and they acted as exposition dumps. Characters would say their first line, and then the conversation would end, and you could start a conversation with them multiple times to work through everything they had to say. In testing, I found the overwhelming majority of players did not talk to characters more than once, and missed the vast majority of their dialogue. It was also not a very interactive process for the player, as you had no real agency or control over the conversation or pacing. To this end, I have revamped how conversations work and when they occur. Interactions now follow a more traditional dialogue tree structure, where you select responses or topics to discuss and the characters reply in turn. This is most certainly a change for the better. Not only does the player actually get to now direct conversations in the way that they choose, but it also allows for more in-depth discussions and allows me to flesh out the world, character motivations, backstories and so on in a much more focused and directed way. From the start of development, I had planned to have full voice acting in place for the NPCs and other characters of Bannerman. The original concept was that there were not going to be a whole lot of interaction with NPCs, and that utilising voice acting would help convey their characterisation in a way that would be difficult to do in the small amount of plain text. The problem is now that I have quite a large cast of characters that would each require an individual voice actor, and the script is also roughly, 3 times the size it was initially. So I'll have to look at everything real closely and see if having voice acting is still a viable option, or if I'll be dropping full voice acting in favour of the increased player interaction. If it does come down to making the choice between the two options, I will likely choose the new conversation system and script. I believe that the increased interaction for the player and ability for them to direct their story in the world outweighs the alternative of having voice acting, but at a cost of lack of interaction. But like I said, I've still got to have a close look and crunch the numbers on it and see if it's viable or not. I spent quite a bit of work this month on a new tile set for a new level of Bannerman. This level is different to many that the player has progressed through so far in that it is a populated area. The majority of locations in the first half of the game have been ravaged by war and are now abandoned, destroyed, or long forgotten. The town of Blakesley is within enemy territory, and it is here that you start to see a different world from what you've seen up to this point. The majority of the town is largely in good repair. There's a degree of law and order, guards patrol the streets. There's a marketplace, commerce is thriving. The war has not really affected the citizens here to any real degree. Once the actual level layout was complete, it looked lovely, but it was very empty. A good amount of time has also been spent on background NPCs that walk to and fro, barter in the marketplace and so on. This is all done in an attempt to help bring the town to life. There is still a bit of work to do here, mainly in increasing the number of NPCs available, as you will see quite a few repeating people, but the basis is here for building on later and all the systems are in place. The secondary weapon system I introduced last month now has weapon racks, which are scattered around through the game. This is where you can pick up and swap out your current secondary weapon. At the moment, the bow is the only functional secondary weapon, but systems are in place for other weapons to be introduced later down the line. The boss for the bridge level, which I spoke about last month, has not been started yet. In fact, I'm starting him today, as I took a week off from the game this month before I go into full-on crunch mode in an effort to get everything finalised and released. I am now on the final stretch of development. I have a handful of levels and bosses to complete. I've got other secondary weapons to put in. Then I have to finalise audio, test, bug fix, and really that's about it. It doesn't sound like all that much to do, but it is a lot. Finishing the final 10% of a game is a process that can stretch out into infinity, as you can polish everything for an almost unlimited amount of time. I've been working on this game for 19 months now, and when I set out, 2 years was the maximum cutoff that I was going to allow for myself. This game has gone from a dinky little one-level concept with hardly any animation into a playable experience that it is now, and although there is more to do, it is nearly over. A lot of people have been asking lately when the release date is. The truth is that I don't really want to commit to a date yet. I'm hoping to have the game what we call content complete by December. So this is everything in the game and it all works. How long to a release date after that really comes down to how many bugs I need to fix and what changes I need to make due to feedback I got from testing, that sort of thing. The bottom line is that it isn't that long until the game comes out, but I don't have a date yet. When I do have a date set in stone, you will all be the first to know. Well, there we are. That's another month that's gone by. Thank you to everyone for watching. I hope you have a very pleasant day.